Hey, what's up you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here, and I'm here to do a video on the USA Season 2 premiere of Graceland. And if you guys don't know what Graceland is, then, then first off, why are you watching this video? And second, I assume if you are actually watching this video, you've seen Season 1 of Graceland, and you're all caught up with it, so I don't think I need to explain the story to you. So we'll just go right into it. So we start off with, well, we don't really start off, I'm just going with whatever comes to my mind first. With Briggs being my favorite character as far as he goes in this episode, we see that him and Charlie have developed a more romantic relationship, which they kind of teased and hinted at and implicated in Season 1. But now we see they're actually sleeping together, and the whole secret's out and things like that. So there's that, and we see that Briggs is like having nightmares or like daydreams about him killing Juan Pablo last season. The FBI agent that confronted him disguised as Jangles, and which I thought was a stupid move on Juan's part, because Briggs has such a dark history with this guy, and you just come up to him when Briggs is let alone drunk, and then what do you expect to happen? Briggs wrestled with him and he shot him, okay, when Juan pulled a gun on him, so I think Juan should have probably looked into that and thought about it a little bit more before doing that. But still showing that Briggs has a conscience. He's having a lot of remorse about doing that, most likely. He didn't really know he was doing it at the time, but he still did it, so... And not everyone else in Graceland really knows about that yet, either. So, I think Jakes does, of course, and... Mike might have a suspicion about it, but he doesn't know yet, I don't think, and neither does Charlie, for sure. So... And, yeah, speaking of Charlie, it shows that she's still sort of looking into it herself, because we see her watching Juan's family, so she probably still has something in the back of her mind about it too, and she lies to Briggs about where she's going when she's doing that too, so that's going to create problems later for sure, to say the least. And so that's that's the main thing about what's going on Briggs's part. And we see Mike, he's become like the special assistant to the executive director or something like that. I'm getting the title pretty wrong here, but he's moving up the ladder in the FBI and different things like that. And they're saying if he makes like one more big case, like the whole Bello thing last season, that he'll become director or something close to it eventually. So that's kind of cool. He is pretty dedicated to his work, and he's smart as far as book smarts go anyway. He's still a rookie as far as it goes in the field and stuff, in my opinion, but he is pretty good on his feet with undercover stuff, so he's getting pretty better, and getting more experience as he goes. Then we see he has a new girlfriend. I forget her name. She's blonde, and you see some fans saying, oh, he's sleeping his way to the top. No, I really don't think Mike's like that, but I don't know, it's probably going to create some problems later with the whole Paige thing they had, with their kiss at the end of last season. But, so that's probably going to create some trouble there. We see them looking at each other in different ways and things like that, so there's that. And, on that phone call, we seen at the end of last season, when Briggs telling Mike that there's actually a hit out on him, from the cartel. And, that's because of the alias or the cover he created last season with Bello, with the whole Marine thing, the guns deal or whatever it is. And so I guess the cartel actually has to hit out on that alias or that person that Mike created to cover himself with. So, Mike's still in danger, obviously, because he is that person, so Briggs gets him to come back down to Graceland, and they're trying to set up this whole situation where they can actually get one of the guys from the cartel, and it doesn't really work out that way though, because when they're doing the bust, these other regular police officers show up to stop this dogfight, and then as that's happening, and Briggs is sort of confused by that, Mike is grabbed by these two guys and taken away, and eventually Briggs and Briggs and Johnny, it might have been, they arrive and they kill the two guys and rescue Mike. But we see that they have like these freshly inked symbols of the cartel on their necks, which at first I thought would mean that they're really new recruits, but it's later pointed out that they're actually not with the cartel at all. They're from something separate altogether. And I might have been forgetting some details about that, but so we'll probably definitely see more about that as the season goes on, and so that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that whole hit thing plays out. It's really pretty exciting stuff by the end of the season. And so those are the main plot points for this episode. And with Mike being back, he oh wait, yeah, actually as far as those guys that capture him goes, it was about the whole bus line thing that Mike pitched to his director, or one of his bosses at the headquarters, or whatever you want to call it. I forget what it's called, but at the bureau, maybe. We see that it's actually two guys who were trying to get to him because he had the whole idea about the bus line figured out, that his boss didn't believe him about. And look what happened. Shock. Mike was right. And so he's talking to his girlfriend on the phone about it, and so that whole thing should be interesting, like I said, as the season goes. And plus there is still actually a hit out on Mike's alias from last season from the actual cartel, so that should be great. And see what this bus line thing leads to, and hence why this season premiere is called The Line, referring to the bus line. And because they use the bus as transportation with the cartel and things like that. Anyway, maybe not the cartel necessarily, but we'll see. And so those are the main plot points for this episode. And other little things I wanted to talk about include that Mike, because of Mike being proved right there with being captured and all that, he actually got his own assignment to be down there officially, and he is told to choose a team, or his girlfriend kind of helped him set the whole thing up, and she's probably going to be pitching it to the director again. And Mike was told to pick a team by her, and he decides to go with his buddies at Graceland. Buddies, I say that term loosely right now, because Mike was kind of being arrogant to him throughout the episode, calling Briggs and Johnny burnouts, because of all the partying they're doing. They seem like a lot more whatever when it comes to what they're doing, with Briggs shockingly playing it safe with the investigation. I wanted to make sure Mike was actually safe. How dare he? But yeah, I know what he means. Like last season, Briggs would really be almost like Mike in the way that he would try to get through with the bust any way he could, or the investigation. But so Briggs has changed a little bit, as have the rest of them. But and Mike kind of apologizes for that, but there's going to be some tension with that as it goes, I think, and so Mike's staying there for another 8 weeks, with the whole bus line investigation he has now. And so that's mainly the episode. And I've been kind of iffy on this show in general. I mean, there are elements I like about it. Like I told you before, I really like Briggs as a character, Paul Briggs. He's the main reason why I'm watching the show. I actually find him to be pretty interesting. With the whole Juan thing and the whole state thing he had with the past of Jangles, drugging him up for weeks, and then, burning down his old group, with the girl he loved, Lisa. It's really tragic, and you really feel for him when it comes to that. So I'm guessing we'll hear more about that eventually. And we'll probably get close, I'm sure more people will eventually find out about the whole Juan Pablo murder thing with him. But we'll see where that leads. It should be pretty good. And overall, I'm becoming a little bit more interested in the show. I mean, it is I don't want to seem like a promoter here, but it is pretty fun for the summertime, for a summer show. It has like that light feeling, but at the same time, it's pretty compelling, decently compelling, and so it has a pretty good vibe to it. And most of the actors are pretty good on the show. At least our leads are pretty solid for what they're told to do anyway. It's not the greatest thing on TV, but it's definitely getting better, I think. So I'll be sticking with it for a while longer, seeing where it goes. And Briggs is pretty awesome. And to our merry men and women, I'll catch you guys later. And I'm not sure if I'll be doing another review every week for the show, but I'll at least do a review on the Season 2 finale in a few weeks. Or a month or two, I don't know. I'll at least do a review on the finale, but I can't promise a review on every episode this season. But hey, check it out. If you like Burn Notice and different shows like that from USA, I recommend it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.